Hello everyone. Today we'll be concentrating on the concept of merging. We're continuing with operations on one-dimensional array. Now what is merging? Merging is putting the contents of two arrays into one. Now on your screen you can see two arrays, array 1 and array 2. One way of merging would be is just to copy the contents of array 1 and array 2 into array 3 as you see in this diagram. Another merging would be you copy the even elements of array 1 followed by the even elements of array 2 and so on. So these kind of merging we have already seen in class 11 when we did the chapter of list manipulation, correct? So what are we concentrating here today? When I'm talking about merging today, I'm thinking of merging the contents of two sorted array into the third array. I repeat, when I'm talking about merging in today's topic, I am planning to merge the contents of two sorted array. Sorted could be ascending or descending. So you have a sorted array, array 1. You have a sorted array, array 2. I'm going to be merging the contents of both these arrays into array 3. But as I merge, array 3 should be sorted. Okay, so you need to be merging the contents of the two arrays and see to it that as you merge into array 3 is also coming in some particular sorted form as specified in the question. Is that clear? Okay, so let's look at my first example here. Let's say I have array 1, I have array 2, and I have to merge the contents of array 1 as well as array 2 into array 3. Now if you look at array 1 and array 2, both these arrays are sorted in ascending order, correct? So this is in ascending order, this is in ascending order. Okay, let me just write that here for you. So array 1 is in ascending, array 2 is in ascending, and I need array 3 to be in ascending order. Okay, so that's the requirement of the question. The question says you have array 1 in ascending order, you have array 2 in ascending order. You need to merge the contents of array 1 and array 2 into array 3, okay, such that array 3 is also in ascending order. Okay, so we already have array 1 and array 2 existing in the program. So those are the parameters passed to the function called merge. Then what does n1 and n2 stand for? Array 1, let's say, has n1 elements. So that's n1, and array 2, let's say, has n2 elements. So that's n2. Now remember, n1 and n2 need not be the same, and you can see it in this example. Array 1 has 3 elements and array 2 has 5 elements. Okay, now we need to be creating an array 3. Now do you agree with me that array 3's size is going to be the sum of the sizes of array 1 as well as array 2? Yes. So what have I done in this line? I am creating an array with data type none. None means nothing. And that data type, I'm multiplying it. We have learned multiplication operation with a list. If I have elements 2 and 3 in a list and I multiply it by 3, I get 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 repeated 3 times. Similarly, I have none in the list and I'm multiplying it by the number of elements in array 1 as well as added to array 2. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So none is multiplied by 8. Basically, you're creating an array of size 8 and no specific data type or no specific elements stored in that array 3. Okay, now I'm telling you the logic. Okay, what I'll do is your concentration should always be on what do you want as the first element of array 3. So what do I want here? The smallest element, correct? Because it's ascending order. Where is the smallest element in array 1? On the top, correct? So I place a variable I on the top here. Where is the smallest element in array 2? Also on the top, because that's also ascending order. So I place a variable j here. And k I will always place on the top in array 3. So I'm introducing three variables to you. I and j is currently at the first location, that is 0th location, because the smallest elements are at the 0th location. Suppose one of your array was descending order, then the smallest element would be at the last location. Where do we place I and j is important, and it depends upon what is the first element that you need in the third array. The first element that I need in the third array is a smallest element. So go find out in both your arrays where is the smallest element and place I and j accordingly. Okay, so I have placed now currently I, j and k at location 0. My k would always be at 0. Only I and j would change. I will show it to you in the next example. So I'm going to be placing my I, j and k at index location 0. Now what am I doing basically? I am trying to compare this element with this element. That means ARR 1 of I am comparing it with ARR j, not 1 of I, ARR 1 of I is going to be compared with ARR 2 of j. And whichever is smaller, you will be transferring it to ARR of 3. Okay, so in this scenario, when I compare 2 with 1, which is smaller? 1. So I transfer 1 here. After transferring 1 here, I increment k, because now I'm going to be looking at another element in array 3. At the same time, I'm incrementing j. But I will not increment I, because it's not the ith element that you transferred to the third array. It's the jth element that you transferred. Next, the comparison will be between 2 and 6. Which is smaller? 2. So I transfer 2 here, increment k. Now don't increment j because it's the ith element you transferred, and you increment I. Comparison again between 5 now and 6. 5 gets transferred, you increment k and you increment I because ith element got transferred. Comparison now between 7 and 6. 6 gets transferred, you increment k. And now do not increment I because it's the jth element that you transferred. So you increment j. Now the comparison is between 7 and 6. 7 gets transferred, you increment k and you increment I. Now when you increment I, you have realized that the array is done. The first array is over, so there is no more comparisons required. Whatever remains in array 2, okay, there is no more comparisons to be done. Whatever I have in array 2, which I have not transferred to array 3, just transfer it here. Okay, now in this scenario, array 1 got over first. Array 2 could have got over first. Then in that scenario, whatever remains in array 1, you transfer it to array 3. So that's the logic that we are going to use. Okay, so where did I place I, j and k in this example? I was at the 0th location, j also at the 0th location, k is always going to be 0. I and j was 0 because the smallest element were at index location 0. How do you traverse an array or a list when you start from the first location? Okay, don't we write this line that you see? I less than n1. Similarly, I less than n2. Now, why is this loop written? This is the loop that does the comparison between the ith element and the jth element. And when can you compare? As long as I is within the range of the array and as long as j is within the range of the array. What do you mean by within the range? That means that it's a valid index location. So as long as I and j's values are less than n1 and n2, what you do is compare. So can you see I am comparing the ith element in ARR1 with the jth element in ARR2, and whichever is lesser I'm transferring it to ARR3. So in this scenario, ARR1 happens to be less. So you transferred the contents of ARR1 to ARR3 and incremented K and incremented I. Otherwise, you would have transferred the contents of ARR2, correct? Now this is for comparison. This comparison can happen as long as there are elements in both the array. What if the second array gets over, okay? And the first array still continues as I less than N1. So what do? Transfer all the contents of the first array into the third array. Okay, what if the first array was over and you still have elements in the second array? Then you transfer the contents of the second array into the third array. So initially, remember, the logic is both the arrays have elements. That means, that is this. What does this line mean to you? That both the arrays still have elements. Then you're doing the comparison. When will I be out of this while loop? If any one of the array gets over. Now both the arrays will never get over first. Even if they have equal number of elements, only one of them will be over first. Then you're coming out of this first while loop and checking, does your array 1 still have elements? Then you transfer the elements of array 1. Or does your array 2 still have elements? If it still has elements, you transfer the elements of array 2. Is that clear? Okay, so here this merging was where array 1, array 2 and array 3, they were all in ascending order. It could be in any order because I just said they have to be sorted. Okay, let's look at another example. But before that, and how would I display the contents of the array? Now array 3 has how many elements? N1 plus N2. So I've written that loop there which goes N1 plus N2 times and it displays the contents of array 3. Clear? Okay, let me look at another example. Here, your array 1 is in ascending order, your array 2 is in descending order, and your array 3 is also, or should be in descending order. I told you my K is always going to be on top. It's the I and the J that I have to place. Now, which element do you want here? Array 3 is descending. So you want big element or small element? The biggest element. Go and locate the biggest element in ARR1. Where is it? At the last location. So this is your I. Go and locate the biggest element in ARR2. ARR2 is in descending order. So obviously the biggest element is going to be at the top. Now this is the most important part of your program. Okay, that placing I, J and K at the correct location. I said K would always be at 0. Then you find out which element and accordingly place I and J. I will tell you another trick. Okay, I said array 3's K will always be at 0. Now which order is this? Descending. Any other array with descending order, there also you will start that variable at index location 0. Now this was ascending order, so you start at the last location. Is that clear? So any array which has the same sorted form as that of the resultant array, those variables you will always be placed at 0. Otherwise, the other for the other arrays you will be placing at an length minus 1. Okay, so this I've already explained to you. I have two arrays. Sorry, I have two arrays, array 1, array 2 with n1 elements and n2 elements. Now you need to remember, in array 1 we are traversing, but we are traversing backwards. Okay, so the loop for traversing backwards we know is different. Okay, so I have array 3 created. You have I, J and K. Now can you see K is at 0, J is also at 0, but where is I? At the last location. What do you mean by last location in an array? Length of the array minus 1. Now pay attention to this while loop. It's not like the previous one. I is greater than or equal to 0 because I is traversing backwards. So when you traverse backwards, you start at the length minus 1 and you come to greater than or equal to 0. When you're traversing forward, you start at 0 and you come to less than n2 or n1, depending upon which array you're talking about. And what am I doing? Now I want the biggest element, right? Descending means big element. So if ith element is greater than the jth element, transfer the ith element, but only remember I am decrementing I now. Because I compared these two, I put 13 here. Then I compared 12 and 7, I put 12 here. Then I compared 9 and 7, I put 9 here. Then I compared 7 and 6 and I put 7 here. So in this array ARR2, you saw I was increasing J. But in ARR1, my I is at the last location. I can't increase it. I have to decrease it. And that is the reason I decrease it. So if it's greater, if the ith element is greater, put the ith element. If the jth element is greater, put the jth element. Okay. Now this comparison is done as long as there are elements in the array. I told you there could be a possibility that one of your array is over. Then in that scenario, what do? You still check. Is I greater than or equal to 0? What would it mean? That ARR2 is over, but ARR1 still has some elements. You transfer those elements and decrement I. What would this mean? That ARR1 is over, but ARR2 still has some elements. You transfer the elements, but J is always getting incremented. And finally, you display the contents of the array. Is that clear? Okay, you can ignore this semicolon that I have put here. It's by mistake. It's my style of writing C++ and Java, so that's still there with me. You can ignore that, but even if you had put a semicolon, your program wouldn't show an error. I've explained to you in our initial videos that if you need to write two statements on one line, like you had wanted to write k is equal to k plus 1 and I is equal to I minus 1 on the same line, then you would be writing k is equal to k plus 1 semicolon I is equal to I minus 1. So putting a semicolon is not going to be an issue. And finally, I'm displaying array 3. Clear? Okay. Is that clear? Okay. Suppose, let me just ask you something. Your first array is in descending order. Your second array is in ascending order, okay, suppose, and your third array is in descending order. Where will you place I, J and K? Can you tell me? Yes, you're right. K, I said, is always going to be at 0. Which is the other array with the same order? The first array. So I is also going to be at 0. But where is J going to be? At the last location, that is length minus 1. Clear? And remember, your I will keep incrementing. K always increments, but in this scenario, what would happen? J would decrement. And just remember the traversing concept. If you start at 0, you go to less than the number of elements. If you start at the number of elements minus 1, then you come to greater than or equal to 0. So only these things to be kept in mind. Is that clear? So I hope merging is clear and you will be able to. Now if you ask me how many such kind of merges are there are 8 possibilities. If there are 3 arrays, 2 raised to 3, there are 8 possibilities. All ascending, all descending and various other forms. But if you know the logic that we are using, you can tackle any of those 8 programs. Is that clear? So I hope merging is clear. And remember, very conveniently my students tell me, why don't you just put the elements of array 1 and array 2 into array 3 and sort array 3 according to the required order. That's fine to get the same result, but then it won't be sorting as you merge. When they ask you to merge the contents of a sorted array A and a sorted array B into an array C such that it is sorted, it means as you merge, the sorting concept must be applied. Okay? Okay, thank you.